Hello and welcome back to a very highly anticipated episode of Why Do Boys Play Games podcast. What's our name again? I don't know. I've got a little bit of foghead because I'm coming to you live from having COVID right now. My name is Sean Fitzgerald, and I will be your host this week, and I am, as always, not alone. Today, we seek answers to questions, and my first question is for my esteemed co-host, Colin. Colin, why have you personally not reset Tim Boyle to be projected for 0 points this week?
I know, I'm getting this question all the time. I know when you sort by quarterbacks, Tim Boyle's, he's still projected for like 8 points. I'm just a big fan of what school did he go to? UConn. I'm a big UConn fan and Eastern Kentucky. So I just love Tim Boyle, so I just want to give him some props.
Total homer pick. Yeah.
Oh, I know. He's playing in USFL, so I just keep forgetting that. I'm just joking. I don't know. Yeah, it is funny how he keeps getting projected for points.
We continue our search for knowledge with our next co-host, Corby. My question for you is, how are you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling great. My fantasy football season is over in this league, but the grind keeps going. Something we forgot to talk about last week, Peter Griffin. They added Peter Griffin to Fortnite. And so the grind goes, and by the end of this year, I will exclusively play as Peter Griffin in the video game Fortnite.
Yeah, we talked about this after we stopped recording, and that's exactly when I started working on last week's thumbnail. So that's why we had thumbnail Peter Griffin dropping in. I'm not done introducing people, however, because if you are looking at the thumbnail to this episode, you already know that we're joined by someone who we're going to ask a bunch of questions to. Before I ask you any of them, Mike, welcome into the show.
Hey, good to be here again for the third time. What's up, everybody?
Mike, it is such a pleasure to have you back on the pod. We've got so much we want to get into, but little formality first. Would like to update the record. Michael Bokuniewicz, why do boys play games?
I was trying to think of that today, a good witty response, and it was hard for me to think of one, but then right before I was a little late because I was playing Fortnite Rock Band. And my buddy Chris, my good friend Chris, was playing as Darth Vader, and seeing him hit the Gangnam Style to Florence and the Machine made me realize this is why we play games. Moments like this. Like, you can't have that in real life. I mean, that's like, come on.
Some people wait a lifetime for a moment like this as Darth Vader Gangnam Styles to Dog Days Are Over.
Yeah, I was like, if I said that if someone said that to me like 5 years ago, I'd say, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, what is that? It's amazing.
That's a fever dream. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And speaking of amazing, Michael, last year was an amazing season for you, as you had been struggling for a while, and on the heels of 2 seasons ago, you nearly quit the league. After just being down in the dumps, and you had this miracle season last year. You ended up finishing in third. I remember I played you in the third place game, and you beat me. I was happy for you. I thought there was nowhere to go but up. But this season hasn't really gone your way. So I'm just wondering how are you managing your morale in this doldrum of a season?
Well, so obviously Monday Night Football week 1. The worst of the worst happened with Aaron Rodgers going down. I got, 8, 10 texts from, I think, everybody in here almost, and so many other people. But, when it happened, I was like, it's fine, whatever. And then simultaneously with that happening, I realized my fantasy season was pretty much over because I had Aaron Rodgers. I was banking on him and Garrett Wilson. I was like, God, I'm gonna have to go back with Zach. So from then on out, I was like, oh, well, whatever, I'll just have fun. And I couldn't ask for, a better experience, better league, people to play with. I get to play with people that I've known for like half our lives, so it's fine. And I'm in the playoffs in my other league, so that makes it a little easier too. So, yeah.
I appreciate you taking it so well. I am not as taking it as well as you. That's why they call me the bad Mike. It is a great time of year. There's lots of holidays like Kwanzaa, New Year's Eve. I know that you're lives for New Year's Eve kind of guy. On the subject of film and art, what is your favorite holiday movie? I guess we're not like limited to like the Christmas season. I guess we could do like a Valentine's Day movie if you wanted.
Well, it's not going to be Valentine's Day. I'll tell you that. Probably Christmas Vacation, or Muppets Christmas Carol. Love them both. Like that. Christmas Vacation is the start of the Christmas season for me, and then I do Muppets Christmas Carol on Christmas. But yeah, I'd say those two probably the top. Great movies.
Great choice.
Adam loves them. So does Miss Pasquini.
Great picks for those who have great taste. Mike, we ask so often, why do boys play games? But I want to know, why do you think boys enjoy travel so much?
Dude, I mean, you just go to see a new place with your bros, having a good time. When we went up to New Hampshire for your bachelor party, and like that was a blast. Never been up there. That was great. Going to Vegas, having a good time with everybody. You just get to see new things, new experiences, and just hang out in a new place. Love it. It's the best.
It's like games in real life.
But no Darth Vader. Gangnam Style. But yeah.
True.
True.
That's very true. Mike, it's kind of related to that. Which is better, Epic Mealtime or JoJo Siwa?
Oh God. I do not like Epic Mealtime. I never did. I'm sorry. JoJo Siwa killed it in the celebrity softball game. So I guess I'm going to say JoJo Siwa. I don't know, man.
You hear it here, folks. You heard it here first, folks. JoJo Siwa greater than bacon strips and bacon strips and bacon strips and gay bacon strips.
And drizzle the chocolate sauce.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Now, Mike, you've given some insightful answers, and I'm looking for something maybe a little bit more electrochemical, if you catch my drift. What do you think boys like the smell of gasoline?
Dude, I don't like. Is it like? Do you get like a little high when you smell it? So like last weekend, we were at Disney, and we took a boat on the river to get back to the resort, and we were in the back, and that thing was fucking pumping fumes into us, and I don't know, it smelled great. We all looked at each other like, dude, this smells so good. I just think it's just, like you get a little high from it. It smells good, have a good time. It's manly. No, I'm just kidding on that, but it's good. I don't know. Love it.
Yeah, no. And speaking of things that are good, I think we've got a really nice, really fun power ranking for you, Mike. So we were looking back through Mike's players who have finished the season on your roster more than one time in the past. We call these Mike's guys. And I'd just like you to go through and power rank how you think of these players in your head. Are they truly Mike's guys, or are these just sad coincidences? So take it away, Mike. Rank them from 10 to 1.
Well, number 10, Matt Prater. Yeah, dude. So it's surprising to me because, I just dump kickers, like whatever, unless you have like a legendary one. But I thought I had Chris Boswell a lot more than Matt Prater. But looking back, yeah, I had a lot of Matt Prater when he had the cannon, when he had the thunder thighs.
I'll admit it was between Matt Prater and Nick Folk. He was the only other kicker you had twice. Yeah,
Nick Folk. Next up, I'm gonna say T.Y. Hilton. I guess I did have him 2 years. I didn't realize it. I mean, he is a legend, love my baby. But I don't really consider him like a my guy for me personally. I remember hating having him because he's, Mr. Glass. Next up, I'll say Le'Veon Bell. I hate him. I can't stand him. So, he just quit on the Jets. He's a great Smash player, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, I think I had him when he tore his ACL, of course, naturally. I'll say Vernon Davis. Vernon Davis next. I am so, why I had Vernon Davis? I could tell you why. Because I had Jordan Reed.
Fair. Fair. Yeah, the other tight end that actually qualified for this was Rob Gronkowski, which that's just everybody's favorite. Even if you're a Jets fan, you like that guy.
Yeah, he was. I think he was one of my first picks ever in fantasy. Was Gronk, but no, Vernon Davis, because I would have Jordan Reed. He would, mush brain, and then I'd have to put in Vernon Davis. So Corby and I have a special connection with that guy.
I fucking love Vernon Davis so much. That guy's awesome.
He is a legend. Next up, I'm gonna say Todd Gurley. I'll say Todd Gurley. Todd, I had him again, I think, on one of his terrible years. And I also had him on one of his great years. So I think I had picked first or something like that back when we did Snake. And I was like, okay, Todd Gurley's the clear number one. So I'm going to have to go with him. And he was lights out then. But when I had him the year before that, I was like, just so let down. He was a legend, though. He was so good. But yeah, went through highs and lows with him. I'm going to say Chicago Bears D. Top 5? Is that surprising? I love Chicago Bears D. I would go for them. Like, I would go into the draft like, I got to get Chicago Bears D. That Khalil Mack, they're staunch, front D. I was like, wow, there's like a set it and forget it, which is what I do now anyway. But
the fact that this guy, Chicago Bears defense is ranking ahead of Todd Gurley and Le'Veon Bell is so surprising, Mike. So surprising.
Dude, it's me. I'm a dumbass. It's more exciting to me to get like 20 points out of your defense than 20 points out of a running back. Like that's cool. Like that's awesome. I'm gonna say, oh god, this is tough. Aaron. I'll say Aaron. I loved having Aaron Rodgers. He almost made me like a quasi Packers fan. I loved watching him. He was like one of the only good QBs I've ever drafted ever. I never drafted good QBs. So that was awesome seeing him light it up. And speaking of good QBs, Zach Wilson, number 3, for sure. Hold on. I've had him every year he's been in the league.
Of course you have. You've had him in this league every year since he's been in the league.
He's inevitable. Right? Like, get Aaron Rodgers and then Zach Wilson's going to come back. So, yeah, that's just the Jets homer in me. Yeah, what Fitzy?
No, the order so far has been, there have been some surprises here, but I'll say one thing. When I put this list together, the top 2, no surprise. These are Mike guys to the core.
No doubt about
it. I don't want to hype this up too much, but you just had 2 current Jets quarterbacks at 3 and 4. It means 1 and 2 have got to be something special.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna say the cheeseburger man, Eddie Lacy. What is there to say about Eddie Lacy? China food, burgers. Dude, that man is the size of 2 football players put together. Loved him. Again, I don't even think I had him when he was good. I just had him on the tail end. I remember Eric having him a couple years, and he was good with Eric. I don't know. He's just a legend with all of us. We all talk about him still to this day. How far away is he removed from the league? Like so far, but he still comes back. I love a good big guy running back. But this next guy is not a big guy, but he is one of my all-time favorites, Jerick McKinnon. Dude, 3 years. I have
the only player who has ended the season on your team 3 years so far. Yes, Jerick McKinnon.
He's on my team now. He's on my team in this league and in the Discord league. Well, back when he was on the Vikings, I loved having him. It was him and Latavius Murray a lot of the time, right? Yeah. Pass catching, PPR. It was great, right? I thought he was awesome. And then in recent years, it was more or less before Pacheco, when they had just Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and then he was good, but the third down back, I like a good pass catching back like Colin, good to have that, and he was catching a lot of passes. And now, my running backs this year are just, they're just sad. So I needed someone that could probably get maybe 7 points, my flex. So yeah, it was he's a legend. I love him. He's the best, and Adam loves him too. I know he does. Comment below, Adam.
What I was surprised by is, yes, he's the player who's finished on your season, on your roster more than anyone else. You had a 3-year gap where you never had him, 2018, 19, and 2020. didn't finish with Jerick McKinnon. Now, he might not have finished the year. Maybe he was on your team earlier then. But yeah, like such a spread with Jerick McKinnon. Some honorable mention players who didn't make the list here. You had not Trent, but Trenton Richardson is now what Yahoo calls him. I think that's just really funny. When I look back at your 2013 team, you had Trenton Richardson. Yahoo disrespect. You also last year, I don't know if I didn't know this. You had Kyron Williams last year.
Yeah. So when he went on the waiver, like when he was a waiver claim, and it was the same as Josh Kelly or whatever, I was like, oh, I can't remember if Kyron did well last year. I don't think he did, or maybe he did. Whatever. I was like, I don't think he's that great, so I'm not going to pick him. Huge mistake, obviously. Huge mistake. Bad.
See, I was about to say you are clearly ahead of the curve. You're the Kyron Williams whisperer.
Yeah, because he had like a slow combine and stuff. Whatever. No excuse. Trent Richardson, though. Remember that picture? Remember that picture, Corby? Where
of him trying of like him like running into the
away from the hole,
the fucking the Raiders O line, and they're just running straight into the wall. There's a huge hole right here. Yeah. It's one of the best pictures, like best football pictures ever.
He was great in the XFL or the USFL, one of the two. He was great in that. So
yeah. Another couple of honorable mentions. Entering the 2-year club this year, we have Desmond Ritter. So Desmond Ritter, now a Mike guy. And Jerick McKinnon, of course, entering, hollowed ground as the only player with 4, but we mentioned it. Entering the 3-year club is Zachary Capono Wilson. Congratulations to Zach. That's a Mike, my guy right there.
Just what I said earlier, Aaron Rodgers is like the only good QB I've ever drafted. I have Zach Wilson and Zach Wilson Jr. Those are my QBs, man. It's bad. Whatever. Love them. Those are my guys.
Speaking of my guys were stuffing the mailbag full this week. And the first comment came from, what's this? Colin, as Corn Rock says first. Colin, any comment before we move on?
First, that was the comment. I'll let it speak for itself. I coordinated the upload. I wanted to log in. I check it out in the morning on Saturdays after, just to make sure it went up right. And I saw, I've got a comment. But nobody has liked the video yet. So I commented, and yet I was the first to hit like. Does Colin practice what he preaches? I mean, I'm sure I hit like. I know I did. So I don't know if like the software lags or what, but like, because I saw the reply, it gives me a notification. I looked and it was already liked. So I think that was your fault and not mine.
Lee Story.
So Chris Colby Fantasy Football 4 says, welcome back, Corby's husband. Thank you. Great to be back. He also says, Jesus fucking Christ, I don't understand why my grammar has been so bad. Right end? Question mark? He tried, and that's okay. He's under a lot of stress right now. He's got Babby coming, and he's about to be a dad. So he also totally calls me out here because I like when Chris does this in the comments. I think it's very funny. Corby, I didn't spell anything wrong. I may use the wrong word due to a typo, but my spelling is immaculate. Please don't fact check this, you fuck. And then he says, YouTube got mad at me for this comment, which is awesome. Which is really great.
Yeah, what does that mean?
I'm sure he probably got like a warning for calling calling me a fuck or something.
Yeah. They don't do anything about the comment. They're just like, hey, don't do that again. But we're gonna leave
a little slap on the wrist.
Hey, I always press the button. This video is not made for kids, so you're allowed to swear in my comments.
Oh, I always say it's for kids, and I usually use tags like learning and Coco Melon and dancing ASMR fruit and stuff like that. Anyways,
Spider-Man Elsa.
And then I replied to Chris because everything we've read you so far has been just in reply to Colin's comment that said first. So I said, Chris, let's keep going deeper in this one sub comment here. Good luck, Chris, because I commented this prior to our matchup where he needed the luck. But we'll get into it. The next comment comes from a faithful listener, Adam, who says, Colin talking about his team like 2 roads split off from here, and my life goes running in opposite directions. Exaggerate barrier between who I am and who I want to. Anybody recognize these lyrics?
I recognize it because I Googled it. It's from the band From First to Last, his namesake. but I don't know. I didn't listen to the song. I just googled the lyrics. So he's just giving a little reference to his, that's his name, or is it still? Yes, it is, from first to last. So nice little Easter egg. And then Adam hitting us back with was this the question of the week in the description, or was it something we said on the podcast?
It was something that I said on the podcast because I was talking about risotto in
I
my
remember,
comments.
yes.
And so I'll read this one because I really appreciate this description. He says, I like to make a delicious tomato sauce with San Marzano tomatoes, some plump hot Italian sausage, lots of Calabrian peppers. I can't fucking speak. Serve with pasta of choice. The San Marzano tomatoes, they're expensive, but they're totally worth it. They make the best sauce, no doubt about it. I just made something with it the other night with them, and it's the fucking best tomato that you can buy.
Is that the one in the yellow can?
Yeah.
Yeah. That
shit is so tight.
So good.
What's your guys' favorite pasta? Like what shape?
I really like rigatoni. I think that's fun because it's big. It's like the really big ziti's. They're like really fat.
Sure.
Yeah, they're gigantic. I really like those.
I'm a big just like classic penne, like a good tapered end on the penne. And if I'm feeling, like I want to pretend that I'm eating vegetables, I love tricolor penne. Just mix in like some spinach paste, and I can pretend that I'm having a vegetable. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I like the bow tie.
Love bow tie too.
Yeah.
Emily just made a homemade bow tie pasta. So
nice.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I'd say cavatappi or angel hair.
Cavatappi is awesome.
Cavatappi is great.
Does gnocchi count because it's made of a potato? Gnocchi is the number one, probably.
Gnocchi is so good.
Gnocchi is amazing.
Yeah.
But if we're talking like actual pasta,
I just meant like shape, like.
Okay, yeah. If we're all of these, what I'm trying to say, I'm an Italian American, and I would approve all of these. I'm sure Tommy Cutlets would also approve all of these.
Yeah, they're all awesome. And speaking of awesome, let's check out this next one. Well, Adam says, "Quote: I was right about Miles Sanders and Cam Akers." Unquote. LOL. Adam's clearly agreeing with me for once that he was quoting it because it's the truth. So Miles Sanders looked pretty good on Sunday. Almost got a touchdown. So he had a 48-yard run. I don't know if you guys saw it, but he ran out of gas a bit. Miles Sanders more like no Miles. Adam says, I can feel my mind wandering again. Probably another reference to something.
Oh, that is a lyric to the song that I put into last week's episode.
What is that?
And it's actually the lyric right where I cut it off. I put in, I can feel my mind almost like Waluigi was about to start speaking. Anyway, yeah, great comment from Adam there. Adam also says, I'm calling him Sonny Moore because I knew him as Sonny Moore before he was ever called Skrillex. Back when he was an emo-looking boy.
That's why I called Drake Jimmy. I call him Wheelchair Jimmy.
Do you remember my senior quote? It's Skrillex. Yeah, I like the earlier work.
That's good.
That Ryan put in for me. Ryan put that in for me. So I'm basically like Adam, pretty much.
You liked him before he was Skrillex. Yeah, good for you. And then Adam also says Alan Rodgers. So
Alan Rodgers is legendary.
Wasn't that last week?
Yeah.
We're still talking about that?
Yeah.
Get over it.
No, it's because I was listening before we recorded, and I literally almost crashed my car because I was like, I cannot believe you just said fucking Alan Rodgers.
You gotta know when to fold them. Mike says, I would day my culinary specialty aside from Helios pizza. It's a vegan jambalaya. Super good. That sounds great, Mike. That's all I have to say about this comment. That sounds great. Good job. You did a good job writing this comment. You want to elaborate a little more? Tell me about your jambalaya.
Well, I don't put a roux or anything like that. I mean, it's just like you look up vegan jambalaya. It's probably the first recipe on there. But I got the red kidney beans, the black beans, some rice, peppers. I throw in some jalapenos in there. It's like a one pan thing. Put crushed tomatoes, tomato paste, all that, and some chicken stock or vegetable stock if you want to be vegan. Yeah, that's right. And yeah, it just boils 20 minutes, and it's fantastic. It's really good. And Elio's pizza. I mean, come on.
Naturally.
No.
Our next comment here comes from Chris Colby Fantasy Football 4, who says, "Okay, sports fans, I'm back with my weird stat of the week. So Fitzy got the win on me this week, and there's only one head-to-head player matchup to look at that really made the difference. Mike Evans versus Drake London. This week, Evans had 1.8 points, and London had 29.2. Last week, Evans had 29.2, and London had 1.8. Thank you for your time." Colin, you had the perfect reply. How do you keep doing this?
That's incredible.
Nobody has better week-to-week stat anomalies than Chris Colby Fantasy Football 4.
That's incredible.
He should make a podcast.
He's a great color commentator, a Colby commentator. It's great.
Well, his commentating might need a little work because, as he says here, I just realized I think all of my previous comments were left as a reply to the first comment. So.
Even when he spells everything correctly, he keeps fucking up. Chris, you gotta get it right, man. Come on.
This was also 2 days after he left all those comments on first. So he came back to finish the video and was like, "Where's my comment?"
Only true fan coming back to comment more than once.
I want to take this. Yeah. I'll take the last one also because Adam says, "I pick Corby in the matchup. I start Madison over Spears." Corby did not do that, and if he did, he would have lost by a lot more. But we'll get into that. So good for you, Corby, for sticking to your guns.
Thank you.
Your spears, rather.
And it's about time to start getting into it. So that's the matchup we're going to be saving for last. First, we're going to go through everything that happened last week and all the playoff implications that were. First one was Brandy versus Eric. And there were actually some playoff implications here because nobody really expected Eric to put up 89 points and really kind of slip down the standings here. Brandy has a couple of good weeks or a couple of good players here in the quarterback position, especially Brock Purdy, and somehow still only puts up 118. You look up and down the board here. It's like I see a few 20s. What's going on? Well, another Dalton Schultz 0 isn't gonna help out very much. So we'll be looking at how Brandy sets their lineup when we enter a segment later. But until then, tough loss for Eric, but he's looking to get things right this week.
Yikes, Eric. Your team sucks, bro. You're going to be one and done.
Yeah, it's been a couple of tough weeks for Eric. We have a segment later in this podcast where we'll look at how Eric's performances have looked throughout the year and how they look now. And let's just say I think Eric's time might have already come and gone. It's tough to lose Keenan Allen to an injury and Josh Jacobs this week. So you just kind of squeaked in, thanks to your hot start. And it looks like you might be squeaking out. But, we'll get into that. And good for you, Brandy, for winning.
Yeah. Eric hit the reverse button. Which I know I can't say much about that. But looking at the team, I mean, CJ Stroud, right? He's in concussion protocol now, too, because of MetLife turf. Nico Collins is probably going to be out. Damian Pierce, I mean, that guy sucks. So it's going to be tough sledding here. And, Brand, good for you with the win. Stunning on him with a big 0 from Dalton Schultz. So that's a good win.
Didn't even set your lineup. And you beat dumbass Eric. I'm going to talk shit because, listen, there's only one winner, and you're all going to join us all. So please, come on down. You're next, Eric, so let's fucking go.
We were here first. In
the
trenches.
Welcome. Welcome to the loser club. You just so happen to be the first ones to lose.
Speaking of the first ones to lose, let's move on to Tyler versus Mike, where Mike got the victory. Me and the coin picked Mike. We believed in Mike. Corby and Fitzt took Tyler. Mike's been actually really hot to end the year. What were you, Mike, at one point? I don't know. What are you ending here? On a 3-game win streak or something
I've got this one here. There's no hotter team in the league than Mike. You talk about Eric hitting the reverse button. It's like you guys had a Freaky Friday situation here. Mike, you're one of only 3 teams to win 4 out of the last 5 matchups. So that obviously means you were 1-8. You end the year 5-9. That's some serious legacy stuff. That's going to help your Yahoo rating. It helps you build into next year. The program is looking strong.
Right, and that's also tough for Tyler because this was obviously a must-win for him. If he won, he would be in playoffs right now. He didn't win. Gabe Davis, the famous Gabe Davis, you don't play him at away games. That's all you got to learn because 0 points, I don't know, 2 targets. So that's tough. Tough game in general. Justin Jefferson obviously kind of, you know, fucked you over. Josh Dobbs, all your Vikings. But again, just shout out to Mike and shout out to Jarek McKinnon and his swan song maybe of this season for the regular season of fantasy. Gets 12.7. What a monster.
Yeah, Mike, congratulations on single-handedly eliminating the commissioner from fantasy football playoff contentions. I love seeing Zeke on the bench for Tyler. Love seeing OBJ on the bench for Tyler. Love having Rashid Rice on my team. He had like 20 points. I could have helped you out, Tyler. Love the Gabe Davis trap. Oh, dude, it's just like a recipe for disaster, unfortunately. Feel bad for you, but also
Two quick notes before I hand it over for your victory lap here, Mike. This, like you said, Corby, is the perfect, I look at Tyler's bench and see Zeke there, and all I could think after that Thursday night matchup was, man, Ezekiel Elliott sure is going to win a lot of people no money because he's on everyone's bench. Like, no one's starting Ezekiel Elliott on Thursday night. And then also, Mike, last thing before I hand it to you here is another week where Tyler's defense scores over 20. He's got the guts to bench Dallas D and put New Orleans in there, and he gets 23 out of them. And you still beat him by 30. Mike, stunt on him real quick.
Well, like you said with Tyler's bench, it's the story that has been plaguing Cash. He will text me about starting the wrong players. I mean, it's a story that we all fall into, right? We start the wrong players. We can never pick the right people, right? But I feel like with Cash, it happens a lot. Except for the defense, that was the right call. It was a tough loss. I mean, when I went into this week, I saw Bryce in there, and I was just like, can I please just enjoy a good Bryce game? No, I can't because of this. But when I look at my team, kind of seeing the blueprint of what I was hoping for, where my wide receivers, my QBs are going to be putting up good points, except it'd be Geno and Aaron Rodgers, right? And then just have a couple of bums, So it's nice to see this. Obviously a little too late, but love playing spoiler. That's my usual role, so it feels good to be back.
Oh, it's good to have you, Mike. It's good to have you. Someone who needed to have this one, Taylor versus Chris Cloud. So Taylor had, going into the week, an outside shot of still making the playoffs if he lost. He just needed to put up some points. And Chris Cloud said, not only are you going to lose, you're going to only score 109 points against me. So Chris solidifies himself as the number 1 overall seed. And Taylor, in a tale as old as time, has a bad quarterback play in a week where he needed it most. Now, this is not even really, I can't call this one his fault. Tua has his worst week of the year. But I think at least on-field play, a pretty long shot. Tough way for Taylor to leave his season. But it's been a good one. You made a lot of good progress, Taylor, toward achieving silver next year. Again, just like Mike, the program looks strong. The program is continuing to get better for next year.
Yeah, Taylor was no doubt my dark horse to make it at least to the semifinals. I felt really strongly about his team. I really loved Amon-Ra and Tua and Kamara and stuff, but unfortunately, it was the supporting cast. Never was able to figure out what to do with your running back. You had Aaron Jones riding the bench all year long. It really sucks that he was hurt, and you have the tight end nightmare of having David Njoku and not knowing when to start him when he's popping off and all this shit. And so that just sucks. And Chris, now you get to enjoy the week off and probably score a shitload of points again this week while you're on bye. So congratulations, Chris.
Yeah, Chris has been he's closed out the year on some really dominant scores. I think he lost last week when Chris Colby scored, like 200 on him, but he still put up like 185.
184.
Yeah, the week before that, I think he had 200. He did. So he's been unreal to end the year. His team is unreal. I didn't realize how I don't own Rachaad White anymore. I don't know if you guys do, but if you do, I'm sure you know this. But over the last 8 weeks, he's been just he's been on fire. He's been so awesome, and you can say that for a lot of his team. Chris has got the number one team. Even if he lost, I think he would still have a bye week just because of all the 8-6 teams, and he obviously has the point lead anyway. And that sucks for Taylor. I just saw Taylor last night, and I apologized because he had the point lead for like the first half of the season. He was having an awesome year, and just kind of collapsed, and that's a bummer for him.
25 points away from making playoffs.
Yeah, and he didn't need to have. Yeah, like you said, he didn't need to win. He just needed to, outscore Chris Colby and all them by a good amount. But Chris Colby had a good week. We'll get into that. And Taylor just had a really bad one. So it's just a bummer all around. So he still finished the season as a top 6 scorer, but it just wasn't enough to squeak it in.
Yeah. So if you started in Njoku instead of Gus Edwards, you would have been in playoffs, huh? That sucks. That's tough. And with Taylor, the master of the swag strat, you would think throwing in the 2 inside ends, right? Taylor, I was pulling for you. You can go back to week 1, week 2 in the comments. One of the questions was which team will go undefeated and which team will go defeated. And I said, I think Taylor is going to go undefeated. I believed in your team this whole time. Unfortunately, didn't pan out for you, but welcome with us. And we'll be back next year. Good job, Chris. You're probably going to win. But yeah, good job.
Next matchup was Adam versus Chris Patnode. I don't know why we didn't put this one first, because honestly, this one was the most predetermined, I feel. It was Chris P has been on the slide of all slides to end the season. We didn't realize, or at least I didn't realize, how bad his points for were until the last couple of weeks where he goes on this losing streak. Pulling it up real quick. Chris to end the year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight losses after having 3 straight wins before that. So just 1 win out of the last 5 weeks, including losses to Eric, Colin, Mike sitting here, Taylor, and Adam. Like, any one of those flips and you make it in. So tough way to go. What did you guys see in this matchup?
This was Bryce Young's 7th consecutive week with single-digit points. And I know, I've been saying all year, and I know, we're like, oh, he's got Puka, he's got AJ Brown, and he's got, a good team. Corby's favorite phrase, he's got a good team on paper. But, I can't overstate, the average quarterback was probably in this league scores maybe 17 or something. And when he's putting up not even just single digits, but it's always it's 8 or 7. His highest in those weeks was 9.2, and all the rest are below. They're 8 or below, or right on the border of 8. It's just that's a 9. That's basically not starting a tight end and just giving up that. That's it's so huge. It's but obviously there's other reasons too that he lost. There's just a monumental collapse of formerly first place Chris, and and Adam secures the bye week here. So good for him, and he needs it. Because I'm coming for him, but we'll get into that. So, but good for Adam. Sucks for Chris.
Yeah, Chris joins the loser list. Welcome to the losers, Chris. And it just so happens you're playing the number 1 loser this week in the consolation bracket. And I've got some bad news for you. It's not going to go well. Well, we'll get into it. And Adam's team is kind of boring because Patrick Mahomes he sucks, and so does Travis Kelce. So, fuck Adam's boring ass team. I hope he loses.
All right.
Just being down here with Chris, I get the kind of inside scoop that others may not. Being with him when Eckler went down and when Dobbins went down, I never draft Ravens running backs because it's cursed, right? So that's I think it's a kind of death mark on you. But Chris went into it not expecting much. You had a good run. You had some good pieces to it. I mean, during the draft when you went for Bryce Young for what, $15, something like that. It was crazy. I mean, it was a gamble. Who knew what he would do? But you had, like I said, you had a good run. It's sad to see you lose to the villain of the league, but hey, you'll come back next year, right? Just like Taylor, just like me, just like Corby. It's gonna flip. The meek will inherit the earth. We're coming back. And Adam, all right, no comment.
All right. In our next matchup, it was Corby. You said no one should ever intro their own, but I think we can recap our own. It's where I put the sweet, sweet SmackDown on my good friend Chris Colby. Couple of notes here. So this was the fourth straight week, or this was the third straight week that I have faced Chris in some fantasy league. 3 weeks ago, it was the $100 league. 2 weeks ago, it was 2 weeks ago it was $100 league. 3 weeks ago was hockey. Last week, Why Do Boys Play Games, of course. And spoiler alert, we got a rematch coming up this week. So the rare end of season and then wild card round playoff battle between Chris and myself. I'm so happy that we both made it. This is the thing that I said to him when I hugged him at his baby shower. And by the way, I think that hug is also what gave me COVID. So I see you. You planting the seed there. I'm rooting for him also. This is a fun one. If he beats my friend Adam in the $100 league, there's a really good chance that we face each other for a 5th week in a row. And I'll have the rare chance to beat my friend 4 out of 5 weeks. So, Chris, bring it on, man. Excuse me. That's the COVID coming through.
He did bring it on, it sounds like. He brought it on.
Yeah. Justin Herbert puts up 1.8 points for me. Everyone else is double digits. Drake London put the smack down. I feel really good about this week. And we'll get into Justin Herbert's replacement. But we're recording on Thursday night, and it doesn't look great so far.
Yeah, we'll get into that. But what's nice about this, Fitzy, is even if with the score you put up, even if he beat you, like if he put up like 40 more points, you still would have made a playoff. You would have been in 6th place, and you would have just played him anyway.
Oddly, it didn't matter. You're right. It's so yeah.
So you were in control of your destiny, and you manifested your own success. The Justin Herbert thing sucks, but you had it. You started off this season at like best a very mid team, and I know you said earlier about Mike's team like winning like 4 of the last 5. Are you one of those too? Because you said a few teams did that.
It's Mike, myself, and then the 1 seed. Yes.
Right, and of course you didn't say that you were one of them because you're a humble guy. But yeah, your team has been on fire too. You've been awesome to end the year, and you needed to do this to make the playoffs, and you did it. So congratulations. And I've liked your team all year. I've always been ranking you high. Read the receipts. I remember last week you were like, they projected Cortland Sutton and Drake London for 22. There's no way they're putting up 22. What did they put up here? 36. So Cortland Sutton continues his run of domination this season. What a great pick. Love Cortland Sutton this year.
I do have a stat on this that I was going to say for bets of the week, but I have to say it. Cortland Sutton and Justin Herbert have the same number of games this year without a touchdown. That's so strange to me. Tyreek Hill and Raheem Mostert have the same number of games without a touchdown as well. And Raheem Mostert leads the league in rushing touchdowns. Like they all have 3 games without one. Cortland Sutton just has never had 2 in a game, but he just gets one every game. It's awesome. Love this guy.
It's his token touchdown. So great. Yeah. Good for you, Fitzy. Great win. And good for Chris too for losing but still squeaking in there. So this will be a fun one to watch this week.
Congratulations. I don't know.
This is why I stay humble because
you took the words right out of my mouth. I'm looking forward to the rematch where we get a Hurts versus a big stick or something. I don't know. Whatever. We'll get into it.
All right, I want to intro this next one because I have something to say about it. It's funny. All right, so this next one is Colin versus Corby, where I took the win. Me and the coin picked myself. I locked myself in. Fitzy and Corby took Corby. Corby locked himself in, and things were looking grim at the beginning of the week. I had no quarterback, and things were looking bad. And then my savior, Drew Lock, appeared, picked him up, and it was great. He did good against the Niners, and Debo obviously blew up. Those were like the 2 X factors to me. And if I hadn't picked up Drew Lock, and I still would have had like a decent score, like 136, I would have lost to Corby. But then you're like, no, you wouldn't have. He's got 134. Did they just do this today? Do you guys know? They took 2 points away. If you go to like league overview, I don't know if you guys are on mobile or what. They have a thing at the top saying, hey, we just took 2 points away from Jared Goff last week. Corby would have beat me, and then it would have been reversed like today or something, and I would be in playoffs. You guys know what I mean?
That makes sense. Little stat correction.
He had a stat correction for a lost fumble, -2.
Wow.
That wasn't processed. So I would have lost if I didn't have Drew Lock by like 0.5. And then and then it would have been reversed. I feel like they did it maybe yesterday or today, but very recently, way too recently.
It was yesterday. It was after waivers claimed.
Yeah,
Wow.
so
Incredible.
that would have been hilarious. It would have been a great controversy. Anyway, thanks to Drew Lock, Corby's favorite Bronco. Next week I'm picking up Paxton Lynch. So this was a great win and Corby's two favorite players, Drew Lock and Deebo Samuel, were his downfall. So that just feels like justice to me. The only tragedy is Sam Howell couldn't be there too, and Baker Mayfield too. So just a great redemption arc for these guys. So, when James Cook was out there putting up a bunch of points, I did get a little afraid. Same with Tajay and Will Levis. I remember at the end of that game, not to drone on, but like they were in the red zone, and if Will Levis passed to Spears for a touchdown, that's like it would have been like a 12 or 14 point swing. It was scary. So, it was a good fight.
Nah, this was over when I started K-Dot.
You had a good game.
No, genuinely, I didn't know about the stat correction. I think that's really funny, and I think that if that had happened, it would have been the icing on the cake of my season. And I kind of wish that it may have happened. Honestly, it would have been fucking just glorious.
Yeah, after the shit you put up with this year.
I'm like whatever. Okay. Yeah, I really just wanted a free burger, and I didn't get that. I'm happy for you, Colin. Really, I generally am happy that you're in playoffs because you're my good friend. So, and Drew Lock, congratulations on losing to the 49ers 16-28. Good job, dude. Awesome job. Great redemption arc for Drew Lock. Fucking die. Worst Broncos pick of all time. Oh my god.
It's worse than Paxton Lynch.
Oh no, actually no, probably not.
First rounder.
They both aren't they both?
I think Drew Lock was a second, wasn't he?
Yeah, watch this. So go ahead, Mike. Fucking beat me down.
You would think that I would want to beat you guys down after all the slander and abuse I've gotten from Fitzy and Corby, especially. Well, Fitzy, don't do that. Because what happened the last 2 weeks when you said, "Oh no, the coin Mike."
What do you mean only 2 weeks? But anyway,
I think you had that as like a soundboard. You just pressed it, like you were ready. Like, "Oh no, the coin pick Mike." So yeah, I'm taking my victory lap. I mean, that's all I can really do. No, Corby, I was truly rooting for you.
The fuck?
Yeah, I was. Because it's more interesting to have someone knock someone out of the playoffs like I did. I did what you couldn't do, Corby. So just want to put that out there.
At least one Mike did it.
No, it was a good. It was a good matchup. Yeah, Kate Otten, bro. He had a good game. He had a good game.
Scored a touchdown, and when I saw that notification, I was like, "So you're saying there's a chance?"
There's a chance.
Whatever that fucking dumbass quote is.
Yeah. The Tomb Raider? He's still in the league. He's on Green Bay. Is that Tyler Kraft?
That is Tucker Kraft.
Tucker Kraft.
Who the hell is Tucker Kraft?
Wait.
He's a rookie.
Oh, I thought it was Tyler Kraft too, and I played it. I was like, I remember this guy. Wait, who is Tyler Kraft?
No,
Yeah,
Tyler Kraft.
Tyler
Kraft.
Kraft.
I definitely thought that's who this guy was. I was like, I know him. That's too funny.
Well, Colin, that was a great win. I'm happy for you. I truly am. I just have one question for you. Do you have the guts to keep Tom Brady for the rest of the playoffs on your bench? Do you have the guts?
I mean, I haven't cut him yet. Have I? I'm playing Eric. He's still on my team. And that's something that I think we'll get into. We'll get it. I have a special segment planned in a couple weeks for the pre-championship week. That's something we'll get into. But yeah, I'm keeping him for now. I mean, obviously, it's worth it. It's working. So 1-0, and if you count the rest of because you picked him up, Mike, and you won. He's infallible. So of course he's on my team for until further notice.
He's inevitable. He's Thanos, dude. I mean, come on.
Corby, I just wanted to say one more thing about your team, just to close the book on your regular season. Tough loss to end it. But I wanted to congratulate you on not giving up, not giving in, and not ascending to a new height of loss streak. So I went through and tabulated all of the big, long losing streaks we've ever had in our league history. And a couple of them are from people who are no longer in it. So, of course, Steven famously lost his first 11 games in this league. Mike Sr. holds a 9-game losing streak as well. You stopped yours at 8. As far as current league managers go, interestingly, we tend to see losing streaks at the start of seasons. So I started mine with an 8-game losing streak, but I had won my final game of the prior season, so that's only an 8-game losing streak. Adam, of all currently active managers in the league, holds the longest losing streak of 9 games because he lost his last game of one season before he lost 8 in a row in his famous "Why So Serious" when he became Adam the Joker. So congrats to you on stopping the slide. To getting off it and not joining Adam with the Joker people.
No, they say stop the count. Had to stop the count.
Well, we're not going to stop this count as we get frustratingly or tantalizingly close, however you want to view it. Corby goes 3-3. In fact, everybody but Colin goes 3-3. Colin perfectly imbalanced, as all things should be, at 4-2. All of us are within 4 games of being in first place. I did not think that this was going to be such a close race, especially when we had such different picks last week. I don't think that the coin and I agreed on anything, and it just happened to be Corby and I agreed on everything. We just happened to go 3-3. Locks of the week, who cares that I'm only 500 in locks of the week? You guys are doing great. Corby, congrats on winning that one so far.
Yeah, I didn't see yours this week, because I think I made these standings. And also, I think just in general, I think we've been a little lackadaisical about it because I think Corby might actually be 8-4, but then I think all of. Anyway, it's just all messed up. But at least you're balanced.
I think I actually lost. I'll just be honest. I think I picked Tyler as my lock of the week. Sorry, Mike.
No surprise there. And how'd that make out for you, bitch?
Oh shit!
Fight.
Fitzy is my enemy on this when he's on this pod. He's always coming out to get me.
I thought you guys buried it after last year, but it's still here. It's still raw.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. I've always liked Mike's team.
Not true.
It's a good team.
Are you? Oh, don't even say that.
Sean's so slimy. Slimy Sean.
I am slimy. I got a whole lot of tissues in front of me. I gotta get the slime out of my nose.
Oh.
A lot of COVID here.
Where else you got slime?
All right.
Colin, keep us on the rails. What's the next segment here?
We got Transaction Watch. This is Colin's special. We got Transaction Watch, and not too much to go over. I feel like the later in the season gets, the worse. The less climactic or whatever it gets. But let's go over it anyway. We've got Chase Brown, who had a good week last week. If you remember, he got like a big touchdown from. It was Browning to Brown. What can Brown do for you? The Bengals Joe Mixon guy. He got like a 50-yard touchdown or something. So good for him. Adam put $1 in there, so he's got him now. So, if you got the money, spend it. He's got $1. Corby was in there with a $0 bid. And Fitzy with $11 for your Herbert replacement Easton stick. I don't know if we talked about this, but it is Thursday. So they're playing now. He's not having a great game. We'll get into that a little more.
Well, luckily it's already garbage time in the second quarter. So
I cannot believe that it is 21-0 right now.
We'll talk about it. And then $18 to Clyde Edwards-Helaire for Fitzy. And then Adam's in there for 7, and then Taylor for 5. Real quick, just like what happened is was this
Clyde was announced as the guy.
Oh, this is before
prior to this was prior to the matchups when I thought I don't need my money anymore. Why do I need money right now?
Fine, yeah.
So I wanted to I looked at Chris's team and I thought, well, if I was Chris, I might want to start Clyde. So that's what this transaction was all about. A little bit of a box out. You saw I didn't start him.
Corby, I just noticed that you had a $0 bid on Easton stick. Was it just to like ruin Fitzy's day maybe or something, or what was the?
The thought process was to earn it. So if you need a quarterback, you need to earn it.
Good for
And-
you.
And I like to see my name there.
Sure, and then I put this last one in, and there's another one I want to talk about that like just happened. But this last one here is Corby adding Zamir White and dropping Jalen Hyatt. Just because I remember, like, I don't remember if it was I think when Adam was on the pod, we kind of talked about this last season about like teams who are out of contention still making moves, and Adam's like, oh, I don't do that. What do you guys? Let's recap real quick what your guys' thoughts on it. Corby's gonna say, I don't give a fuck. Fuck them. I agree with Corby. Fuck you. Get on top of your shit. Fitz here, Mike. Do you guys have any opinions about continuing to compete? You guys like competing?
In this league where we are hyper focused on Yahoo points and alternate losers brackets, you've got to make moves in order to stay competitive in the lore. So totally respect it.
Definitely think it's valid. You're trying to block, other players. So like you said, you got to earn it. I mean,
Right.
I don't do it just because, whatever. I'm not as competitive as Bad Mike, but I definitely respect it, 100%.
Right. Sure. Yeah. We're all just trying to score the most points here. And then the last one is this was today. Let me check the time. My apologies.
It was like 20 minutes ago.
All right, 8:55. Yeah, 15 minutes ago. Eric dropped Damian Pierce. Picked up Davis Mills, some CJ Stroud insurance. Damian Pierce, so that's fun. Let me just check real quick. Oh, Kadarius Toney is unrostered. All right. So that's it for transactions. A little bit of a weak one. A week. Hopefully next week maybe some people get hurt. I mean, not hopefully, but let's see some those last monies flying around.
Let's hope for an injury, as Colin says. Let's get to the name change breakdown here. Speaking of Colin, he's the only one who changed his name, and I've got to know why. It's really interesting to see such a profound name, fantasy team name maker, go with something that is not funny at all. He goes from Monty Python's Flying Circus to Time to Get Serious. So let's hear it, Colin, before I give a rating.
All right, first of all, I don't have Christian Kirk on my team, so I just changed my name. And second of all, this was, again, maybe half an hour before the pod. So I was like, oh shit, nobody's changed their name. We need the name change section, so I had to change my name. And then third of all, I couldn't think of something funny, so I think I was playing like Street Fighter. That's one of Zangief's quotes. I think it's like the one when he walks on the stage. How people walk on the stage and they say, the key to battle is in, that's like what Ryu says. You guys know what I'm saying with the intros?
Yes.
Yeah.
The answer lies in the heart of battle. That's what Ryu says. So that's what Zangief is. So I said, it's time to get serious because it is. It's playoffs. So no more playing around for me.
Colin,
No more trolling.
You haven't answered the real question. Who is this kid?
I googled time to get serious, and he was one of the results. So I did it Adam style.
So if you're modeling off of Zangief, why would you not just use a photo of Zangief?
Well, I mean, that's what gave me the idea, but that's just a little too obscure for me. I want everyone to get out on the fun, and it's a serious kid next to a clock. Time to get serious. Self-explanatory to me, If they see Zangief, they're like, "What the fuck is this shit, huh?" Colin should be booted from the league and probably also drawn and quartered, is what people would say. So.
No one would say that.
Oh.
If I was a fighting game character, my intro would be, why do they call it oven when you in the full cold food, of hot, out, eat the food? That would be my intro. I rate this a 0. This is the worst name so far this season.
You're mad I beat you. I think that's you're just mad you're gonna buy me a burger.
Yeah, I wanted a burger, so you get a 0. Fuck you, and fuck this team name.
Let's see, you want to go ahead? Why don't you give me a rating? You rate names too.
Colin, I like you going behind enemy lines Adam style with the team picture, and for that reason, I do give this a 7.5.
Right, thank you. So that's an average of 3.75 or something. I'm not.
Oh, we got one more. We got one more person.
Oh, is Mike gonna rate it too? I usually don't rate him.
No, yes,
Right.
he is.
I'm gonna rate it. Of course I am.
All right, rate me.
Well,
Rate us.
First of all, obscure Zangief, one of the most notorious fighting game characters of all time, who was in Wreck-It Ralph 2. I don't buy that.
No, he's in the first one.
Oh, he's in the.
Yeah, because I've never seen the second one.
Oh, he is in the first one. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, and then I do kind of respect that you're going from like funny and serious. It's not funny, but you do also hold the title for my favorite team name of all time, Who Wants to Be a Hillionaire. So it is sad to see you fall to such low areas. But I'm glad that Corby thinks it's worse than Kyle Ritterhouse. So, so thank you for taking that away from me. I'll give it like a 4. I like the picture, and it is time to get serious. So, yeah, I'll give you a nice 4.
You rate me because you ain't me. That's what I say.
Okay. Yeah. What would everybody else's fighting intro be? Leave a comment.
Yes, Mike, drive that engagement. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Hottest comment of the week gets a nude of Colin.
Drawn by Fitzt.
And rated by Corby.
Speaking of things that are rated by Corby, let's get to everyone's favorite segment. It's the Yahoo Comments of the Week, presented by Corby. I've got a big old bag of comments from a bunch of fucking random people on the internet. Let's start off with Patrick Mahomes after his meltdown on the sideline for being a big fucking baby. This was, I don't know, a while ago, but Ryan says, this guy triggered a bonus for his record-setting performance. The experts claimed that nobody could ever possibly shed that many tears in a single game, but Patrick did it. Anyone that will shit on Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, love it. Think it's really funny.
Patrick Mahomes has now scored less points on the season than Sam Howell, and they both had their bye week now, so no excuses. Sam Howell better than Patrick Mahomes.
Yep, I agree. Honestly, at this point, I totally agree with it. Let's move on here to this comment on Bryce Young. There's a few Bryce Young ones here, but let's start with this one. Lewis says, just passing through, this guy really sucks. And yes, he really does suck. Let's keep going here. Bryce Young, we've got kind of a string here. Acton says, get your passport ready. You're headed to Thailand. And Kay Pizzle chimes in and asks, what's in Thailand? And the Golden Eagle replies to Kay Pizzle and says, Cliff Kingsbury. And finally, Jacob has another answer and says, Lady Boys. These people are fucking degenerates. We'll keep moving here. We've got a few here for Kadarius Toney. Again, I had to scour the Kadarius Toney stuff because he was lined off sides. Aaron Perez chimed in and said, this guy looks like he picks his nose and browns his pants.
If that's the same about you, Corby.
If that's the same, me and Kadarius Toney have a lot of things in common, and we both pick our nose and brown our pants. Kadarius Toney we also have another one from Jared. Jared says, you think KC misses Tyreek yet? And funny enough, Tyreek chimes in and says, definitely.
That's him.
33 likes on that one. Somebody going through the trouble of making their name on Yahoo Tyreek in their picture. Maybe that is him. It's a lot of effort.
Right. Do you think he would maybe use like an actual like personal picture instead of like Googling a picture like Tyreek?
It's certainly possible.
People are so funny. If you look at Tyreek's Twitter, I mean, that's pretty much what his picture is. It's just a picture of him. So it could be.
Mike, do you ever spend any time in the Yahoo message boards?
No, never. I get my fill from here. I get my DBZ highlights. What happened last week? Each week, I get the pinnacle. Why sift through the filler when I get the best?
All right. Well, don't do it.
I'm not going to.
Don't stare into the abyss. You know what they say it does. It yells. It says mean things to you. It thumbs down all your comments. Yeah.
Oh,
and you're just mad because the basketball chat that is calling you crazy.
I've got a stalker on the basketball chat.
Yeah, what? we should maybe get into that, that a little bit. Let's save it for another time. But
I'll bring the receipts next week.
The short story is that Colin has a stalker in the Yahoo basketball comments.
No.
Yeah, dude.
I'm sorry. Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a stalker. He's a good guy. He's just
Is he Stoker or something?
he's a stoker, but he's really enthusiastic and he's a fan, is what he is.
Yeah, you know, in like the Bethesda games, you have the adoring fan.
That's
This is
exactly what I
this is-
imagined.
He's
This
Conrad
is
Jenkins.
Colin's adoring fan.
It's Conrad Werner.
Exactly what I
Oh, Werner. Yeah,
It's
Werner.
Conrad Werner.
Conrad
That's exactly what it is. All right, all right. Let's move on to it's that time of year again. Let's figure out. Let's remember how to use this application here. Peaky Finders. If you don't remember, we're gonna look at every team.
What is up with that F?
It's an eye with some with some parts.
It,
glued
it,
on.
it looks like Saw, like
Looks like an F to me.
Sorry.
Thanks,
Definitely
Mike.
looks like an F. But, sorry. Go
There's
ahead.
no
go
F
ahead.
in Peaky Blinders. I had to make my own. All right, Peaky Blinders. If you don't remember, we look at every team. Last year we just did the playoff teams. I did every team this year, and we're just gonna look at every team and track their scores and see where they peaked on the year. And we'll start from 12 to 10, 12 to 1. I mean, so number 12, who is it? It's our friend Corby. A pretty boring. Oh, and the orange line is that's league average, and the blue line is obviously the score. So league
Look at
average
my peak.
league average is right around 142. So weeks 11 and 12, Corby had a great peak where he averaged 144.61. So that was it looks like, I think looking at this, there are 3 weeks. Unless 11 you were just on league average, but there are 3 weeks where you were at or above league average. So a tough year for Corby, but also you were never. Well, I guess there was that 3 really bad stretch in the middle of the year, but you were never like abysmal. You only had one sub.
I lost 8 games in a row.
Right, but I beat you like with 128 or something that first week. Like it was just like you could win it with a bad week. Brandy just won 118. Like you also had bad luck.
That's a steep decline.
Let's move on.
That's a steep decline right there.
And here's Mike, a more peaky peak. So yes, but lower lows than Corby, but some highs in there. And no sustained success until the very end here. These last 3 weeks really. 12 is right hidden in there, right around league average, but I didn't include that one. And what's the tragedy is this looks like a team that's peaking at the right time. It's finally getting some sustained success, but too little, too late. Mike, the beginning was just too rough. But good on you for turning on the Jets, as we've already said throughout this episode. So well done, Brandy. Again, a team that other than the week 1 never really was just hovering around 120 a lot, but never really a terrible week. So just a consistent team. And you had those 2 weeks where I think you might have led the league both those weeks. A lot of bipocalypse teams those weeks. So that was a nice 175.37 average, those two. So well done. But then ended the season on a low note when you still could have made playoffs after that 2-game peak. A bit of a collapse there. Chris P. Now this is the one we're talking about how he he started the year pretty well. I mean, but he was never really good. He lucked into a lot of wins, even when he was in first place. I don't think his points for were ever really great. But then you can obviously see that he just bottomed out at the end. So just not a very well maintained team here. He peaked early. Tyler, he peaked. This is a weird one because his best score wasn't included in the peak. He had this. I think what is this? This is like a 4 or 5 game stretch of 152.84, which isn't amazing. That's just but if you score that through the year, you're gonna make playoffs probably. So just a low. Besides that 1 week, just a low ceiling. But I don't want to say high floor because he had that 1 week, but that was an outlier. Those 2 weeks were really outliers. He just had a solid team throughout the year, but bad luck for Tyler. Taylor, this was a great one. Look at that peak though. That if there's a 4-week peak of 181.86 average. That's a great 4-week peak, but that's the middle of the season. That's the wrong time to peak. Again, Taylor was leading the league in points right around halfway through the year, but then just this, kind of collapse, and then he just never got to those levels of success. So Taylor, tough one here. Now we're gonna get to the playoff teams.
This one does, at least for Taylor, I wanted to say this one does look a lot better than last year's, which, as I recall, looked like an EKG of somebody about to have a heart attack. Just up, down, up, down.
Taylor's
up.
last year was legendary.
Yeah.
And this year, yes, that's a good note to make. Is that I don't think anyone really had one too much like that. I think in general, and this was just such a competitive year, we're just all getting a lot better every year. I think Chris Colby, this is a scary team because, again, pretty mediocre through the whole year. He had that one bad week, and then he had those 2 straight 200 games, 205.23 peak. And then last week, I know it looks like he cratered, but he still put up like 150. It's still a good week. So this is a team that I think has a lot of good momentum going into playoffs, and we'll get into that in the matchups because he's already on a good moment good. He's got a good score. Colin.
That's also just to say, Chris, if you have not looked at his Yahoo point trend this year, give it a look because it's just flat, flat, flat. 2 weeks he gains like over 100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he gain a bunch again?
He gained a bunch 2 weeks in a row, and last week was basically flat. So he's got a chance to end with gold for the first time in his Yahoo career.
Good for him. But not good for me. This is a pretty bad one. I know my team is extremely mid, and it has been most of the year, except for these two glorious weeks, I guess. But other than that, I mean, I have no disillusions about my team anymore. See, this when you power ranked me, it was right around this time, so that's why I was mad. But I guess you were kind of right, even though I think you had me 8th or whatever. So it's just a okay team. But look at the end there. I'm coming up, so watch out, Eric. Speaking of Eric, early peak, and his is almost Taylor-esque because you can see, the beginning of the year here started bad, and he had these good weeks down again, and now to end the season, just totally cratering. But that could also mean that he's about to shoot back up if you look at this trends here. So maybe I'm about to get fucked in the ass. We'll see. We'll see. Watch live as I get fucked in the ass by Eric. All right, Fitzy. Fitzy's got a good one. You never really scored below 120. You've got a great floor. I'm sure you've noted, you have a high floor team. You've been calling yourself that all year. But you've also had a good, decent peak. A 3-week peak here of 173.93. That's great. And it looks like you're getting back up there. Like your team has never cratered. You got a great team. You could easily win this whole thing. I think you're like the dark horse here. So great team, Fitzy. I've liked your team all year. I'm going to keep saying it because my team's not that great. Adams is also very kind of Taylor-esque, and his looks like a real mountain range here. He goes through these peaks and valleys, so it was hard to pick one, but I picked the only one that was like 2 games of sustained success. He goes up and down, and then he went down, and now he's going back up. So another one that is scary. And then first place is Chris, who's just never had a bad week. And I think this is a 5-game stretch of averaging 177.74, which is a score I don't know if I've probably hit once or twice. So Chris has the behemoth of the league. That's the whole thing. That's the end. He also had a good early one too here, where he almost hit 200. That's it. So what did we learn? A lot of teams are in the playoffs and they could all win. It's just noise pretty much. My team's not very good. How do I unshare here? So when you see the championship game, you remember what you saw here. Because last year we concluded that Adam would win, and he did. That's not what we concluded. But that's I hope you guys saw lots of peaks.
Good graphs. Good job.
Yeah, lots of fun, Colin. Thanks for not trying to make up Peaky Blinder character names for each team this year. I just love the data. I really do.
You love the data, Fitzy?
Hey. Speaking of things that I love, I wasn't about to let you guys get to the playoff matchups without a little bit of this action going on.
Oh, what the fuck is this?
It's back. You guys did such a good job last year of, keeping the tradition going when I was out. I didn't want to let you down by giving up on it this year. So without any further ado, I present to you the 2023 biggest losers bracket. We're going to have a lot of fun watching this one complete.
Wow,
of course, both
value.
mics get the bye week this week, which is not what you want, right? Whoever makes it to the end is the biggest loser. We're not defining who's the best. This is who's the worst. So you guys both have the bye. First round matchups will be Brandy versus Tyler and Taylor versus Chris this week. Mike, I'm going to ask you first. Who do you pick to advance in this matchup?
I'm sorry, I'm so distracted that Corby's bronze and I'm silver. Okay. Who's gonna advance? Tyler. So Tyler's gonna lose.
Tyler will lose, you think? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Corby, who do you think will advance?
In the battle for Tyler versus Brandy, I will pick Tyler to lose as well. And I'll pick that as my lock of the week.
I'm sorry, Fitzy. You're gonna have to explain this to me again.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
None of this makes any sense. Nobody
This
I'm-
is the third
I'm-
year, guys. Come on, pick it up.
Okay, hold on. So I'm playing Brandy, and Tyler is
You're
playing.
not playing anybody. You have a
You're
No,
not playing anybody.
No,
No.
okay. I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about in fantasy, like fantasy.
Oh, it has
I'm
nothing to do with that, but go ahead.
Oh, it has nothing to do with that.
It's all about
yeah.
the score.
This is all
Oh,
this is
about
all
the score.
hypothetical. Yeah.
This is all hypothetical.
Okay.
And this is only because Yahoo does not give us the opportunity to see who the ultimate loser is. I want to know who would lose out in a
Oh.
bracket of losers. Like, this is hypothetically, if we were the type of league that did punishments, this would decide who gets punished.
Chris Colby still need to do the ice bucket challenge, by the way.
Yeah?
Yeah. Okay. So cash. Yeah. Tyler. Yeah. Okay.
I think we're about to make it a full round to Tyler. Colin, I don't know if you agree there.
I don't agree. I think Brandy will score less points than Tyler, therefore advancing. So, why are we picking Tyler?
Because he's
You
not
think
going to
his
set
team
his
is better?
lineup.
Yeah,
But didn't you just say Brandy didn't set her lineup?
Brandy will set their lineup.
Brandy
Alright.
will.
I'm still taking Tyler. Any given Sunday or Saturday this week.
Wait.
Also
so,
Thursday.
so you're taking Brandy.
I'm taking Tyler to score less points. Or I'm taking Brandy to score less points, yes.
Okay.
Did I say Tyler?
Yes.
Colin,
Tyler
no,
Corbett.
this is the third
Tyler
year you're
Corbett.
doing this, man.
come on,
I understand the conceit.
Other matchup here, I don't see a way in which Chris does not advance here. I think this is Chris's game to, or this is Taylor's game to win. Chris is gonna lose.
Yeah, I agree. Even if Taylor doesn't set his lineup, he's gonna have, Tua and Tyreek and all that in. Like he already has them in, and Chris has, I guess he has some players, but yeah, just give me Chris. His skid continues to leave a dirty stain on his underpants.
Yeah, Chris's team has really browned their pants, if you know what I'm saying. I will pick Taylor to win this matchup, which means Chris will lose and advance in the biggest loser bracket.
All right. Well, I know a thing about losing teams. And I'm going to say that Taylor will advance. I don't know if you knew this, but the Dolphins are playing the Jets.
Oh shit!
And Tyreek has an ankle injury. And it's going to be a rainy day. And, Zach loves the soak. I think the defense is going to be running all over Miami. So, yeah, Taylor's going to lose. Or Taylor's going to advance. Taylor's going to advance.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for continuing to indulge me in my dark, twisted fantasy that is the biggest loser bracket. Let's get on to the real stuff. We got some actual playoffs that are going on right now. That's what we all showed up here to talk about. First matchup, couple of behemoths, Colin versus Eric. Before I turn it over to Colin to talk about this week's matchup, I just want to say you've got a long and storied history in this league, but you only have one prior playoff matchup together. This was back when Colin's Lonely Andy squad matched up against and overmatched Eric's ass squad back in the 2018 third place matchup. So both of you have never been in playoff contention, with a chance to win it all before. In both of those matchups, Eric has leaned on Keenan Allen. But Colin didn't forget. Eric's lowest scorer in this matchup was Tom Brady, who had a down week and only put up 5 points against Colin. Colin knows that Tom Brady doesn't have 2 bad weeks in a row, which is why he stole him from Eric's squad and has him on his roster the second time around. Colin, before I make my pick, I want to know what you're thinking about this.
Like, you want me to make my pick here, or specifically about that, or?
Give me your breakdown of this matchup.
Sure.
It's
okay.
your team.
Yeah, sure. I'm a little down about it just because I mean, Chris Godwin might not play, so it looks like I'm gonna have to play Zay Jones and Keaton Mitchell, two kind of jaggy guys. Or say what you will about Keaton Mitchell. He's talented, but he just doesn't really get a lot of run. So I am nervous, but that is better than Eric's running back too, who is right now empty. He just dropped Damian Pierce, so we'll see if he picks up somebody or if he starts Kenneth Gainwell. So in that stratosphere, I'm feeling well. He's got a lot of injuries on this team. Keenan Allen and Josh Jacobs are already out. C.J. Stroud might not play. Nico, Marquise Brown, and Jaden Reed are all questionable, but I mean, I'm sure at least one or two of those guys will play, maybe all of them. So if C.J. Stroud doesn't play, I'm feeling extremely confident. If he does play, then I don't know. I feel like it's a trap game. My projections are low, but I don't believe in that kind of I don't know why. I don't know why Yahoo hates Sam Howell so much. You think that I set these projections that he'd be like 20 a week, but he's not. I'm picking myself, obviously. I'm locking it in. Denver is number 1 points against running backs. David Montgomery's playing them. They're going to pound that rock right into their mouth all game long. So yeah, give me. It's going to be fun. We're going to get wet. We're going to get wild. And I'm going to soak just like Zach Wilson, who wants to jump on the bed for me.
So I look at this matchup, and Colin, you got Atlanta D going against Bryce Young, terrible, and it's supposed to be like a monsoon. I saw on Twitter today. You know how much a ticket is to that game?
Free.
Close. You can get 2 tickets for 50 cents. To
What?
That game.
Yeah.
Yes. It's supposed to be terrible weather, which, I mean, you could argue Bryce Young can't throw it more than 5 yards. So maybe that's where he's going to be, he's going to shine. But really, I look more towards Eric. And you have C.J. Stroud, who's in concussion protocol, and I don't think any QB or any player has cleared it in 1 week. Maybe one this year. I don't think anyone has.
It's late in the season. They'll just push them through because playoffs matter.
Yeah, right this way, sir. Yeah. Right this way. So yeah, I mean, you could argue, keeping him in there, but like you look at Aiden O'Connell right now going against the bad passing defense. Would you guys have started Aiden O'Connell over Derek Carr or
Yes.
CJ Stroud?
Over Derek Carr, yes.
Over Derek Carr, I would have. Derek Carr sucks, right? What do you think, Colin? What do you think, Fitzy?
Well,
I know with hindsight 2020.
Yeah, hindsight's 2020. We sit with 3 minutes and 50 seconds to go in the first half, and the Raiders are winning 35-0, and Aiden O'Connell's got 18 points on the bench. Hurts for Eric. You know what I think hurts even more for Eric here, though, honestly? Keenan Allen and Josh Jacobs both got ruled out. He takes Josh Jacobs out of the starting lineup, but doesn't put him into the IR. And that's just the type of, we talk about like some pro moves. Like last week we talked about Taylor putting $39 over Colin's $38. That's like some silver level moves. This is not what I expect from the diamond man, Eric. I expect Eric, the diamond rated player, to make the right move. It just feels a little sloppy to me. That's all. And I think this is going to be much like Zach Wilson in a bedroom. It's going to be a sloppy week. Colin, I think you're going to win, and I think it's not going to be too close. You're also my lock of the week.
Yeah. Colin's my lock of the week as well.
Yeah, Colin, it's really great that you have experience of tucking kids into bed because you're about to tuck Eric into bed. This is fucking over, dude. This is already over, in my opinion. And Mr. Sleepy Guy is about to get put down and join the Losers Club. So give me Colin, and we're making it a full round of locks of the week, baby.
Let's go.
And of course, welcome back to Coin.
Well, Corby, the coin also is locking this matchup in. But the whims of fate are making Eric the coin's lock of the week.
Oh, boy.
Oh, no. The coin selected Eric.
Oh, fuck.
Let's move on to the next one. All right, we got the only other matchup that really matters this week. No offense, we got Fitzy versus.
Whoa! We have a whole consolation bracket to talk about. No, I'm just kidding. We don't
We
do
got
that.
Fitzy versus Chris Colby, the 3rd versus 6th matchup, a rematch of last week. Like I said, this is coming in after, or coming in during. It's Thursday right now, so this game is being played right now. Eason's stick is doing bad. Jacoby Myers caught a touchdown, but the thing is like because it's already garbage time. Like I look at these projections and Fitzy's projected to lose by like 8. I don't think Jacoby Myers is really going to score much more points. I think he just got 9 pass yards, so good for him. I don't know what they're doing out there. I don't think he's going to get much more than this because what are they going to do? But Easton Stick is going to get some more, so I think this will even out. So whatever, I'll call it a wash. The tragedy is, of course, that Fitzy traded away Jacoby Myers for Jerome Ford with Chris Colby, so that'll be an interesting thing to watch here. That swing. I'm going to take Fitzy here. I very comfortably. I just like his team more. Again, I've liked it all year. I like Chris Colby's team too. But Fitzy, I mean, I don't see anything too weak in there. And with Chris Colby, I mean, I don't know if Gino's going to play. I guess Tyler Lockett did okay last week, didn't he? Just give me Fitzy. I believe in you. Against your former quarterbacks.
Yeah. So I had the same note here. Chris and I have only had one playoff match together as well. Obviously, these are the 2 quarterbacks I had last year. But when we faced off last time, it was 2021 in the wild card round. So it was the first wild card round we covered on this podcast. And here we are again 2 years later facing off in the wild card round. I also had Jalen Hurts on that team. So Chris, of course, takes away what was my one of my top scorers of the match there. But he actually also had Justin Fields on his bench. So beyond those 2 quarterbacks, there are precisely 0 overlaps, even though we're only 2 years apart. I have none of the players that won me a championship 2 years ago, and Chris has decided he was only going to keep his good ones. And I maybe I'm just feeling down about Easton Stick. Maybe I'm just feeling down because I'm a humble man, like Colin said. But I just watched, it's garbage time, quote unquote. I just watched the Chargers run the ball on 1st and 2nd down after only getting 1 yard on 1st down. They're not in garbage time. They're in give up time. If it was like socially acceptable for them to start kneeling, I think they would do it. But NFL's still got to sell some ads for a couple more quarters here. Easton Stick might end the game with 6 points. I'm going to set my over-under for bets of the week. We'll talk about that soon. Not pretty. Give me Chris. For the 2nd week in a row, I'm picking him.
Yeah, I'm taking Chris too. This is not going to be again. You had to start Easton Stick, and that sucks. And I mean, I can see a swing. I guess the problem is that you've got Dak, who's probably going to have it be in a shootout, which will be great. And you got but you're playing against you got Jalen Hurts going against Seattle, which he's gonna rush for 3 1-yard rushing touchdowns, and Justin Fields is gonna be like Girls' Generation and run devil run against the Cleveland Browns. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm gonna take Chris here. Sorry, Fitzy. Well, I hope you win. That'd be cool. But I foresee you joining the losers club very soon.
Okay. Coming into this, Fitzy, you're probably thinking, well, Mike's gonna pick Chris, his cousin. He's my enemy. But also earlier this year, Chris was on the pod, and in my matchup, he said, "Cuz you're gonna lose, and it's gonna be bad," and I won. Mike will remember that. I'm going Walking Dead here. Anything that you say has an adverse effect. But truthfully, even if the stick man, Anthony Nomacchio, is putting up 1 point right now, dude, you got Christian McCaffrey going against the Cardinals. That's going to be, I think, a monster game for him. Browns going against Chicago. Yeah, they're going to lock it down. Drake London, that's going to be tough. Dak, I think they're going to destroy the Bills. They're frauds. The Bills are frauds. And I look at Chris's team. I mean, yeah, it's a good team, and I think it's going to be a close matchup. Yeah, 49ers D against the Cardinals, Jalen Hurts, all them. But I'm going to give it to Fitzy. I think you're going to pull through with a probably 3-point game from your QB. So I'm going to pick you, Fitzy.
Now, Mike, I don't know if you're looking at the show notes or not. Would you mind reading out who the coin took for me?
Oh, no. The coin picked Chris.
Thanks for that, Mike. Yeah, going to be an exciting week to watch. We're going to be watching it all Thursday night here, and we'll be watching it Saturday, and we'll be watching it Sunday, and we'll be watching it Monday. But for those of you who are out, we got to sprinkle a little bit of extra fun, make things interesting with bets of the week. First, to recap last week, we had Colin versus Corby straight up in the burger bet of the year. Also $5 for the first time ever, the double down, and Colin got it. I don't know if you guys had anything else you wanted to say there.
I lost $20 this week. That's the only thing that I have to fucking say. Not only that, but like Red Robin is like expensive now, so it's gonna be like a $17 burger. So I'm not gonna be able to afford it. I will never financially recover from this week. So let's keep going.
Inflation puts a burger bet at like Caesar's Palace blackjack table right there, dude.
Yeah. Mike, you get to take a victory lap here because last week you texted in a bet and it was Zach Wilson over under. Now I get to fully reveal what the text was. The bet was 1.5 touchdowns. We went over. So first we'll victory lap. Go Jets.
Let's go.
Mike texted me saying, of course I want to make a bet. Zach Wilson over under 2.5 touchdowns. And I said, Mike, you are crazy. Mike said, okay, 1.5. I said, you can try it at 0.5 and we'll see what happens. You didn't bite at 0.5. I told you I'm authorized to go up to 1.5. If you had said no, this would have been a 2.5 touchdown bet. And I believe he only scored 2.
He did. But the Jets scored 3 touchdowns. So the bet, I would have lost the bet. But when Xavier Gibson ran in the touchdown, I like looked away and I looked back. I'm like, wait, was that rushing or receiving? You know, because I was hoping for that. So it was close. It was close. But go Jets, dude.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. I'll save it for bets. Never mind.
Okay, I was gonna say, so picking a horse to make the playoffs was the appetizer bet here. And it was sort of an interesting one because it really came down to Colin picked himself. Colin won out. So, that one was just sort of going to happen. It really came down to Corby picking Taylor and me taking Chris Colby. Even though I beat Chris Colby, it really just came down to the fact all Taylor had to do was not let Chris outscore him by 25, and Chris outscored him by closer to 50. So tough way to lose there, Corby. But thank you. I'm looking forward to a tower of onion rings.
Probably like $12 now. What the fuck?
That'll be an expensive
Holy
trip.
fuck, dude! This is
You're gonna
bullshit.
pay for my burger and my appetizer.
And your lemonade too. I know you're gonna get a fucking lemonade.
We'll see. We'll see what the waitress recommends. I'll ask her. Or
Yeah.
him.
You should do that. Yeah.
This big chocolate milk for Colin.
You'll get the burger. I'll get the burger. Is what you'll say to the waitress.
And what I'm gonna say to Corby is next up.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield versus. I think Baker Mayfield will outscore both your quarterbacks. And he did. Baker scored 20.06. He had a great game. Will Levis had a great game, 18.08 against the Dolphins in a victory. And Goff scored 4.44. I wrote that wrong in the doc because of this stat correction. So Goff had a terrible game. That sucks. Like Corby said, he knew it was going to happen. It was an away game. But Will Levis almost pulled it off. But, Baker Mayfield, he needs a new nickname. What do you guys think? Baker...
Buster Badfield. I don't.
No, that's the. All right, Mr. Goodfields. So thank you to him. And last one we got. Fitzy said, I think the coin will do better than you. The only thing we disagreed in is the Crispy versus Adam one. So I think Fitzy just might have done this for the content because of Crispy was trading really hard, and I don't think you took Crispy, right? Fitzy, I'm pretty sure you took Adam.
I did take Adam, but I believed in the coin. The coin was hot.
That's true. The coin was red hot. Yeah. So I ended up winning, or I ended up winning this bet because Adam beat Chris P. So thank you, Fitzy, because I'm sure that I'm down on both you guys this year. I mean, I'm not actually sure, but I've just made way too many Sam Howell bets, and I've lost a lot. So I appreciate giving me one, both you guys. So. And then I just want to look. I wrote here the Kim versus Alex. We made a bet about who's going to get further. Kim's got her first playoff game this week. I know Alex has a bye, right? But
That's right. Yep.
I put in a roster down here. This is just. I asked her to send me the whole thing. She sent me her starter roster. That's okay. This is a 10-team league, half PPR. So here's her starting team. Pretty decent. Not great. But this is it. So this is what Alex is up against.
Are you serious?
Seriously, Sam Howell. DeAndre Swift. In starting Sam Howell over Justin Fields. I like that you snuck that into the screenshot. This is hilarious. Hilarious.
It's really funny.
Yeah, Travis Kelce too, who I don't know if you remember in my preseason, he was like my number one player this year by like a mile. So I made her draft him. She drafted Cam Akers and Miles Sanders. Those didn't work out, but here we are. So a decent team. So maybe next week bring me Alex's team, even though
I'm gonna paste it in right now.
Oh, okay, great.
Here's Alex's
Christ.
team.
Oh no.
Yeah, Alex is gonna.
Alex.
Yeah.
All right, any given Sunday or Saturday.
This team is on a 3-game losing streak. I can't explain how Alex is like. She's just had a couple bad breaks.
That's probably because she doesn't have Sam Howell.
That's it. All right, so speaking of Sam Howell.
No, Colin. I've got a Sam Howell bet for you. I'm sorry.
I want to make a Sam. I want to make a Sam Howell bet too.
This is the only thing. It's the week of Sam Howell bets. You can bring yours first. But I got one for you.
All right. Well, first of all, obviously this is a result of his bye week, and we got a lot of pent up Sam Howell stored in our scrotums that need to get out. You know, after no Howell December, he's itching to get out of there. So my bet is he's going to be a QB. He'll be top 6. Put it in ink. Top 6 QB this week. Better than Aiden O'Connell.
I will take the over on 6.
Like if he will be top 6?
He will be 7, 8, 9, or 10. You know, like he will not be top 6.
Oh, I see. Like literal over. Sure.
I also think he'll be top 6.
I think he'll be over.
I love how you converted Corby. I
am so converted on Sam Howell. That dude's fantasy gold. I love him.
Why don't we do the same matchup we did last time, where Colin versus Mike and Corby? I'll take you on.
Okay.
Oh, I'm about to have another bet with Colin anyway, but continue.
Give me all
Mike,
your
why don't you?
Howells.
Yeah, Mike, why don't you bring your next one for Colin?
Okay, I have 2 Sam Howell bets. 2. 1, obviously, I'm gonna pick my QB, my guy, Zach Wilson.
Oh, Michael.
To outscore Sam Howell
by
over this week and next week.
Oh wow, multi-week bet. That's fun.
Your bet is that he will outscore him 2 weeks in a row, or like cumulatively?
Cumulative.
Oh, so this is about their matchup next week.
Yeah, I figured I'd just get it in there because they have a matchup next week.
Who's Zach Wilson playing? Who are they playing?
Dolphins
this week.
Sure. Yeah, I don't care.
So what are you gonna take? You want to take Zach or Sam?
No, of course I'll take. I'm not gonna bet it against Sam.
You want to make it interesting?
It already is interesting. It's Sam Howell. He's the world's most interesting man.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Obviously, I'll take Zach. You guys want in on this?
Yeah, Fitzy, do you want Zach or do you want Sam?
If I'm honest with myself, I want Zach Wilson.
Oh, and I'll take Sam Howell.
Let's go. And actually, I said 2, but that kind of put my 2 bets together.
So my stat for you here is that Sam Howell has gone over 20 rushing yards 3 of his last 5 games. But I don't think that's going to happen this week. So I'm going to take the under on Sam Howell 20 rushing yards this week.
I'll probably take the under 2, but it's Sam Howell. I'm slamming the over. Bring me them all. Keep going.
I've got a fun live bet for us here. As of right now, it is currently halftime. We just mentioned that it is 42-0 in favor of the Las Vegas Raiders. And Easton Stick is currently projected for 6.52 points. I'll take the under on 6.52 points.
I'll take over. Definitely over. Come on. All right, wait, are they going to bench him? Who do they have?
They're not gonna bench him.
Let's
They
see.
signed Max Duggan, I think, to their practice squad. I don't know if they elevated him.
Max Duggan.
He was like the 38-year-old college player.
Cool.
Yeah,
I'll take the over, Fitzy.
Max Duggan. That's him. He's 22. He was born in 2001.
Whoa.
Oh, I thought he was the old. Well, that's kind of old coming out of college, right? No, it's not.
No.
Who's the old man QB? I'm thinking of someone
Brandon
else.
Weeden.
Sorry. No,
Brandon Weeden.
no, I'm thinking of someone else. Hold on.
Bo Nix.
Old man college QB. Oh, I think it's like Stetson Bennett.
Yes.
I'm thinking of
Stetson
Stetson Bennett. I'm thinking of Stetson Bennett. Yeah.
How old is Stetson Bennett anyway? Like 24, maybe?
He was born in 97.
26.
Okay, that's pretty old. That's pretty old.
So Max Duggan is the guy. He cried at a press conference, and then like someone made fun of him. Like people made fun of him for crying at a press
Well, you
conference.
should. He's a bit. Don't be a baby.
Yeah, what a bitch.
Yeah, they're not putting a crybaby in.
Dude, Stetson Bennett looks like a dad.
Hey. That's supposed to me.
Just look at him.
I was surprised to learn this one in terms of like old rookies. Tank Dell is 24. I don't know. That just felt old. That just felt old to me for like a rookie wide receiver.
He was probably like, I'm going to stay in school and put on some more weight. Just never happened.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it.
And that's 6 years younger than you, Fitzy. Isn't that crazy?
Damn. Feel old yet?
I have a bet to bring. Fitzy, you've got your infamous biggest loser. I'd like us to pick a horse to win the actual consolation bracket.
Oh.
Obviously Mike and Corby, you guys are in it, so you guys are gonna maybe just take yourselves, and that's a perfectly valid thing to do. I'm gonna take Taylor to take it, who is, sixth in points, so he's got a decent team. He's got Tua and Tyreek, so I'll just take him. I don't know if he'll set his lineup every week. I'm gonna count on it. I'll take Taylor.
Oh, I'm taking me. Lock of the bracket.
Yeah, I'm taking me too.
Oh,
Give me Brandy. Give me Brandy.
I like it.
Wow.
Oh no, Corby took himself.
Oh no, Corby took Corby.
And the coin.
All right. I speaking of me, seeing I'm the main character, and this is my consolation bracket that I'm running. I'd like to make a bet that at any point in the consolation bracket, I will score 150 points because I have not done that this season.
No.
No fucking way.
No. No. Also, I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no.
No, I'm in. Yeah, I'll
Wait,
take
you want to say yes? You want to say yes?
Yeah, I totally will. Of course I will. I'll score 150. I got
Fitzy,
Zamir White going right now. He's going
I was
off.
gonna say Corby might, like, Zamir White is probably gonna smash his projection, and who knows who else is gonna smash there. Yeah. But yeah, Corby, I'm gonna take the under.
Okay, so I'll go against all three of you.
Really?
This is how,
Yeah.
this is how you
Yeah,
win this one.
Yeah,
you
bring it
covered a
on.
whole appetizer.
Bring it on. Let's go.
So, in light of that, do we find out who is Mike after the consolation bracket? Or is it now, after the regular season?
After the regular season, Mike, you have retained the title of Mike because it was I'll say it's adjusted ranking. Actually, wait, adjusted ranking, Corby. I think you win.
But
We gotta go to the accountants on this one to figure this one out. But because you've got a higher points for, still barely, I think you would take it from Mike.
That is so. I simply just don't believe that.
what does it say in Yahoo?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. I mean, Yahoo says that Corby is 12th.
Yeah, but we're going by adjusted rankings. That's
Oh
the
my-
holy That's the holy Bible of this podcast.
Oh my god. It's
Well, I mean, honestly, if you can have Mike, I don't want Mike. I don't like. Nobody's gonna call me that.
No. I say due to the confusion, we never really clearly stated what ranking it was going to be. I think it should be decided by the losers bracket. This is considered overtime. We're going to overtime on this matchup.
But that's not fair to Mike because Mike is like doing well right now. Like, why does Mike have to go to overtime because of some bullshit? I say give Mike, and just I'll be Corby's husband.
Some bullshit. Some bullshit. I mean, he scored 50 fewer points than you this year.
I resigned the name Mike. I just gifted it to you. I don't want it.
Okay.
I'll write down the 150 point rate.
That's very kind. It's going to be interesting to see if you continue to slide further into bronze here, Corby. But anyway, I forget what segment we were on. Like I said, I got brain fog right now.
That's of the week.
Thanks, Mike.
You're welcome.
Mike, thanks for reminding me that you're here. As we're closing that bag, I want to ask you before we close it out here, anything that you want to plug or shout out as an esteemed guest here?
I think similar to last year, I was on the pod at this time of year, going into the holiday season. I know it's corny, but just want to remind everybody to take stock in the people that you love and have fun with one another. Enjoy the holiday season. Hope it's a happy and healthy one for everybody. And the Jets are going to make the playoffs. Let's go.
And good tidings to all. Good tidings to all. And please ring the bell, hit like, and comment as many times as you can down below. Rewind to the start of the podcast and listen again. If you're listening to this, fast forward to the end, let it play to the full end, and then start it again. We're trying to get the view count up, and I'm trying to hack the algorithm, see how many times you hit replay can really boost our numbers. We're trying to reach some new ears this week because I think we got some good content here. Before I close it out, I also want to announce that next week we're having yet another guest on the pod. Adam Belargeron is joining us to yell at Colin for about an hour and a half straight, and he's got a very interesting segment that he's excited to bring to us called Beast Ball. So we'll look forward to that next week, but until then, I'm signing off as Fitzy.
I'm Colin.
I'm Corby still.
And I am the Mike. And gamers, game on!
Open Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style. Open Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style. Open Gangnam Style. Hey, sexy lady. Open Gangnam Style. Hey, sexy lady. 정숙해 보이지만 놀 땐 노는 여자 이때다 싶으면 묶었다 머리 푸는 여자 가렸지만 웬만한 노출보다 야한 여자 그런 감각적인 여자 나는 선호해 점잖아 보이지만 놀 땐 노는 선호해 내가 되면 완전 미쳐버리는 선호해 근육보다 사상이 홀통홀통한 선호해 그런 선호해 아름다워 사랑스러워 그래 너 그래 바로 너 아름다워 사랑스러워 그래 너 바로 너 지금부터 끝까지 가볼까 오빤 강남스타일